Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. It's a very interesting part of this bulletin as we get to the discussion talking about the state of politics. A lot has really happened as we had members of parliament in the National Assembly beginning the week-long induction that is scheduled to take place until the Saturday. Now, since the inauguration of President William Ruto as the fifth president of the Republic of Kenya, the ball has been rolling in the political landscape with politicians ready to dispense their duties. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua took over President William Ruto's former office at the Harambee Annex, ready to execute his mandate as the members of the National Assembly attended the induction workshop in Nairobi. It will be a beehive of activities in the political arena, which necessitates the discussion of the night, the state of politics. Joining me for the discussion is Kotonde Kotonde, a political analyst. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for dedicating your time for this discussion.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
All right, now we're talking about the state of politics, and we have seen really since the inauguration of Dr. William Ruto on the 13th of September, the year 2022, that was on a Tuesday, a lot of activities has really been happening in the political landscape. We have seen the governors, of course, taking oaths of office, and the two counties that was in Mombasa and Kakamega County, election were postponed. We've seen them, of course, now being sworn into office, and of course now we're having the members of parliament, the legislators. Of course, these are the people who represent their electorates at the very basic level and the national level. So we saw them today taking the inductions at Safari Park Hotel in Nairobi. So meaning we are seeing a lot of activities, of course, now coming into play, because these legislators, they're supposed to come and start representing the needs of the common mwananchi at the constituency level. So I don't know, if you look at our political landscape, how would you really describe things? How would you describe our political landscape at the moment?
First of all, I want to congratulate all our leaders who were elected at different capacities, from the president coming down up to the area MCS, and even to the ones who are nominated, persons living with disabilities, and all other protocols observed. Congratulations to them. Based on what you've just asked, going forward, I can say after this induction, 1 week induction, we will see a lot of changes. One, many young politicians who were already in the house, possibilities of them crossing the floor is high. And even to the veterans, that is what I can properly predict, because they really want to give services to their constituents who dearly voted for them.
Yes.
And in case maybe they may be perceived as those who are opposing the government, possibilities of even achieving what they promised to their constituents might not be achieved fully. So possibilities of lying low, singing to the tunes of the government of the day, to at least get some goodies to their constituents, will be seen going forward. Yes.
All right, and probably just to maybe bank on what you're saying, that there are high chances that the elected members of parliament, of course now they're talking about mostly the newly elected, and even the veterans who've been there for quite some time, there's a possibility that they could be crossing the floor, of course now moving to the other side of the political divide. And initially we saw that there were many leaders, of course, elected who were allied to the Azimio camp, but the government of the day is the Kenya Kwanza camp. So if you're saying that really most of these elected members and even nominated could probably cross the floor of the house to the other side, which now raises the question when it comes to delivery of the promises that they made to the electorates and dispensing their mandates in their different constituents. Is this tied to part of a political divide that a leader is allied to?
As we speak, and as known the way the Kenyan politics works, people are always inclined to where the government is. We saw the other day when there was a supreme verdict which was not yet defined then. Some members, even the governors, the one who is now Ali Roba, the current senator, he crossed the floor. Yet it was presumed that where he was fully the Azimio zone.
Right.
Yes. So with that, I see many crossing the floor. As they cross the floor, they really want to associate with the current state of events. Because as much as they were inclined to a certain corner, already the big man has been shown the door.
Yes.
And then we cannot still, it's like a tick which was hanging on a cow, which already, the cow is already dead.
Right.
But the tick is still sticked to the very, very cow, thinking that at the end of the day, he will get something out of it, of which that might not really be the case going forward.
All right, and now, Amedi, still on that, if we have now a situation where most of these leaders crossing over the floor to the other side, so, when it comes to the democracy of this country, we have to keep checks and balances into the government of the day. And of course, now this happens mostly with the opposition, because the House, the sitting government may wish to pass bills that probably would benefit them as, the sitting government. But when it comes to keeping checks, the opposition might stand out to saying that now whatever bill you want to pass, it's wrong because this is not going to be helpful to the Kenyans. So, I mean, when it comes to now this the 13th parliament, of course, which takes 5 years, the full electoral cycle. So what are we going to, what do you foresee in this 13th parliament? Will we see the strength and the threshold of the opposition, of course, now opposing some of the bad policies and bills that might want to be passed by the sitting government, or we're going to see a government that does everything that it wants the way it wants?
First of all, let me keep you posted that they just concluded election. When we go as the coalition, the current government, that is Kenya Kwanza government, they have the numbers.
Yes.
And then now, even if we now go straight to political parties now, individual parties, United Democratic Alliance still carries the day.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, as much as the opposition, the presumed opposition, are interested in making sure that the current government is kept on toes, it might not really work right. Because I'm seeing a situation whereby all the bills, all the activities which will be carried out by this government, be it in the upper house or in the lower house, Senate, the National Assembly, it will automatically pass right, because the Kenya Kwanza have numbers in both houses.
Yes.
So keeping them into a check, though I don't want to imagine that they will be doing something contrary to this country, which will be a bit detrimental. But there are some bills which will automatically carry the day.
Yes. Because
of the numbers they have right from the both houses. Yes.
All right, and now if it's talking of probably, let's say, if we want something good to come from the opposition side, because The 2010 constitution, that is the current constitution that really has empowered a lot of institutions. It was a mandate that was begun by the members who are sitting on the opposition, because it's orchestrated by Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. By then, he's never been in the party. He's never been in government. He's been most of the time been in the opposition. So it is something that was drafted. It was drafted by the opposition, and across the country, across the globe, across the continent, our constitution has really been lauded. So are we probably seeing a situation that even with the low numbers in the Azimio camp, but even if now we're talking about the numbers, I don't know whether it's right that we talk about the Azimio, because Azimio, registered as a political party, has no member elected to parliament as from the Azimio party. The people who are in the Azimio camp are elected from their constituent parties like the ODM, the Jubilee, the Wiper party. They're not members from the Azimio camp. So with the few numbers that we're having in the Azimio, that is, do we probably foresee something good like the 2010 constitution coming out of the opposition?
Ken, I can tell you that the Azimio was registered, yes, but there is something which was done later on by individual parties, which was, I remember talking about it some time back. We call it zoning.
Yes.
If in case the Azimio could have just decided that we scrap all the parties and stand with Azimio, then we could be talking that at least possibilities of keeping a check fully,
yes.
The current government would be very something tenable and reachable.
Yeah, because we've seen parties that were in Azimio camp now decamping to the other side, the Kenya Kwanza.
That is what is bringing a lot of worries, because instead of them staying put, they are now hoping, even before the present time of about 6 months.
Yes.
That tells you that already the opposition is already weak.
Yes.
And by having some trust in the opposition, that might not really be well. But I want to believe that as much as the number might be slim for the opposition, for those who will be in the opposition, at least their voices will be heard.
Right.
And what they will be fighting for going forward for the common mwananchi will automatically be felt, no matter the number. Though I'm seeing a situation whereby a big number of the current MPs, legislators in both houses jumping the ship before even the 6 months. Yes.
All right. Now, away from the National Assembly, let's go to the bigger part of this apple. Now, today we've seen the second in command, that is Rigathi Gachagua, now fully occupying his office, that is the Harambee Annex, which was initially office of the president now, the Dr. William Samuel Ruto. And earlier on, before even, Rigathi Gachagua took this office, there were arrangements that were made that Musalia Mudavadi, who will be given a position of the chief minister, this will be clear. It's not in the constitution, but will be created probably by executive orders. He was supposed to occupy the office, the Harambee Annex, which now Rigathi Gachagua occupied in the absence of the president, the Dr. William Samuel Ruto. Now this raises questions, because if the political air was filled with speculations that the chief minister would occupy that office, but in absentia of the president, Dr. William Ruto, we have seen Rigathi Gachagua now occupying that office, and of course he even invited bishops to bless his office as he begins to deliver the mandates of his office. So now the question that is here now is this position of the chief minister. Don't you think a lot of activities that will be bestowed upon the office of the chief minister will be colliding with the activities that are supposed to be done, rather conducted by the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua. And this might also bring rubbing of shoulders in the political landscape in this country.
First of all, I want us to know, and I want to inform the whole state that we must uphold our constitution, which we got in the year 2010.
Yes.
And this message also goes to our president, Dr. William Samuel Ruto, that by virtue that he had many sponsors, many supporters, many political goodwills, I want to inform him dearly that the Kenyans want the constitution be respected. Just the other day, the Azimio team were coming up with the BBI. In the common Mwananchi's head or mind, we were being told that there were some plots to create more opportunities for some politicians, presumed politicians, not knowing that at the very time we were just hit hard by the COVID just the other day.
Yes.
Now, where were we going to get the money to facilitate the positions which were being created that time?
Right.
That is the same thing which I could be seeing Kenya Kwanza going towards by at least coming up with that position of chief minister. If in case the president of the country, that is the fifth president, Dr. William Ruto, wants to appreciate his lieutenants, I think the cow is so big. This government is so big to the level that he can manage his lieutenants well, not by creating another position. And if in case it is created, then I can see a marriage which might really not be rosy going forward.
Right.
Because there will be a power rift between the current DP and the presumed
chief minister.
Yes. So if in case we will be having that kind of a rift, then I don't think the Kenya Kwanza will automatically implement the manifestos which the Kenyans are really waiting to see in the next 100 days going forward. So for me and other Kenyans, I want to request our president that let him check ways by which he can reward his lieutenants, but not creating more positions which are not constitutionally covered by the constitution of the country. Yes.
All right. And now you've just, it's impressive. You talked of the Kenya Kwanza team delivering on the mandate and the promises that they made to the electorates. And one thing that stood out during the campaign periods is the Kenya Kwanza wanting to lift the lives of the common mwananchi. That is, I mean, that's the layman's understanding of the bottom-up economic transformation model, that the common mwananchi will now be rising. They will be uplifted to rise to the top. So a lot of promises really that were made by the Kenya Kwanza team, and one of them that stood out was lowering the cost of living, because we are living at a time when we have high inflation rates and things are expensive at the expense that the common mwananchi does not even afford some of these expensive commodities. So and we see, of course, the other day David Ndii, who is chief economic strategist for the Kenya Kwanza team, saying that they should be given time to deliver on the mandate of reducing the cost of living. And we have seen, of course, the Deputy President scrapping off the subsidies on fuel, and he's saying that he's not going to subsidize he's not going to subsidize unga. common Wananchi now are crying all over. If you see the internet sensation where people are saying that the government that you voted for, everyone is crying, despite whether you voted for the government or you voted against the government. So do you really believe that the government, the Kenya Kwanza government, is will deliver on its mandate, lifting the common Wananchi, reducing the cost of living?
First of all, I want us to be realistic. This is the time for the reality. The real issues to be implemented, this is the time for them. We were in a political move and we were looking for votes. Now the promises, this is the time to implement whatever was promised, even though some you might have not seen them, because I don't believe the two teams or the four teams, that is the Wajakoya, the Waiga,
Maure,
the Azimio, they didn't go in the whole corner of this state. I want us to be realistic with this government. Just the other day, Chiragei said clearly that the treasury is zero. Once the treasury is zero, it must take time. The government must be given time. We cannot just decide that the government is new and they are going to implement every bit of what they promised. We have workers here, ranging from police officers, teachers, doctors. I'm talking about public servants. For them to be properly covered and this country to move and even recover, we must be realistic. A maximum or a minimum of about 2 years can at least bring back the lost economy. But on the issues to do with subsidies, we were just promised the other day that there is an unga for about 100 bob. But that I wish to know how that story ended, because the common Mwananchi are really looking for such kind of subsidies.
But I mean, we might probably, of course, lift the tight tension on the Kenya Kwanza team, because it was a mandate of the outgoing government, that is the Jubilee government, because the subsidy, it was they're saying that it was orchestrated by the president, of course, probably just to lure votes for his preferred presidential candidate, that is Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. All right, but I don't know, for the interest of time, the director is telling me that we need to wind this up, and most importantly, of course, Kotonde, I want you to advertise, not to advertise rather, but to advise Kenyans, because in as much as, yes, probably the decision of it is the decision of the majority that brought the sitting government, that the Kenya Kwanza government, into office, but we also have almost a bigger majority, that is about 6 million people who voted for the Azimio camp, and maybe their wish is not represented in this government, but they have to accept the fact they've got to move on, they've got to support this government. So what advice would you give them so that they may also benefit from this government? How do they need to position themselves to reap from the promises that were made to the common Mwananchi, that were made to the general public in this country by the Kenya Kwanza government?
All right, thank you very much. I want to talk to the areas which were presumed to be Azimio, pro-Azimio, that is. Each and every time we have an election, there must be a winner and a loser. And in every democratic state, it is indicated and stated that even if an election is carried out today, and we have 45 million persons in this country, but the registered ones are, as it was, 22 million. Out of the 22 million, if in case we had maybe 1 million voters, the IEBC had the mandate to work with the majority out of that 1 million. And therefore, as much as it didn't go as per what we expected, the presumed Azimio, I want you to take it easy. One, support the sitting government. Two, bring your ideas which were already in the other camp. Because Kenya is bigger than an individual.
Yes.
And going forward, we must reclaim the lost glory of the COVID by virtue of fighting and bringing issues which are not properly right. We are going back, we are going to bring this country down, and will not love bringing this country down. And then to our president, I said it here, and I will still say it. You have lieutenants. Most of them are politicians. And for you to recover this country, the economic state of this country, as you will be nominating your cabinet, restructuring your cabinet, bring people of goodwill.
Yes.
Bring the picture of this country, and also bring those who have what it takes as per each docket, not the political losers in the name of rewarding them.
Loyalties, yes.
Yes, I will just wish to see a country represented by good and well-educated youths, representing the dockets of youth.
Yes.
Persons living with disabilities are well covered. Our mothers and women are well covered in that very, very government and the cabinet. So that at the end of the day, it will not be like you rewarded me because I supported you at one particular time.
Yes.
Because I can as well see, just to finalize, I can as well see a looming by-elections. There are some things running on the social media that his key lieutenants are supposed to be given some slots
In the cabinet. Yeah.
I want to wish him right, that let him use all the wisdom he has to at least give us the best, as much as he want to reward them. But I'll wish to see a country being driven by expertise.
Yes.
Those who knows what it takes to bring the economy of this country back to where it should be.
Right.
Yes. But to the youths, let us support this government. And the other day, our president said that he will be announcing slots, PSS positions. Let us come out and apply for these positions.
Yes.
Don't just sit waiting for the opportunity to come. Go for it.
All right.
Thank you. As I believe the future will automatically be very luminous.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your insight, Kotonde, for that. And of course, the youths and the general public have listened to this. And of course, this message, of course, even now goes to the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, that in rewarding those who stood with him during the campaigns, let him use his wisdom to give us the best leaders, because we want the best results out of the Kenya Kwanza leadership. With that, we take a very short break. Coming back with more. Stay with us.